Hey, it's me, Emile Nate, and welcome to the Daily Zap. Today is Monday, January 17, 2022. Of course, the Daily Zap is a short daily recap of everything that happened in the world of sports, world of wrestling, world of basketball, anything that I can talk about here on the Daily Zap. And on today's episode, we would go through the opening weekend of the NFL playoffs. Of course, it happened this weekend. It started this weekend, the 2021 NFL playoffs, and it was a crazy one. We had a lot of moments. We had a lot of memorable events that happened throughout the first weekend. So we'll go through it one by one in just a short amount of time. I'm not gonna go like 1 hour on this. We're just going to talk about the 5 games that happened, and we still have one game that is going to happen tomorrow. That is the Rams versus Cardinals game. That's going to be at 9:15 a.m. Philippine time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. So let's go over the games throughout the weekend. First game, but before that, please follow me on all my social media accounts. On Facebook at Emile Meister. On Twitter also, Emile Meister as well. On YouTube, you can find me at Emile Nate. And on Twitch, you can also find me on Twitch at Emile_Meister as well. So, let's go over the NFL playoffs. Of course, it's a yearly tradition every January. This year, it started a little bit later because the regular season was extended 1 week. So we are starting the playoffs in the middle of January, and the first game that happened today was the Bengals one? Yeah, it was the Bengals defeating the Oakland Raiders in a very close one, actually, a very close game, 26-23. And I am amazed of this kid, Joe Burrow, because this franchise has been one of the worst franchise in the NFL in the last 20 years. They haven't won a playoff game in 30 years. That's how pathetic this franchise was until Joe Burrow came and he really lifted this team. He was the savior that this franchise sorely needs, and we saw that yesterday. He saved the Bengals multiple times, especially in the fourth quarter when the game was close. But I give credit to where credit is due. The defense of the Bengals, man, one of the deadliest defenses in the NFL in the regular season, doing the job, especially late when the Raiders were threatening to make a comeback. Of course, the last possession of that game was an interception. So yeah, congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals for advancing to the divisional round for the first time in God knows how long. The last win was in 1991. That's how long it's been since this franchise has won a playoff game. So let's go over to the second game of the day. It was the Bills mollywhopping the New England Patriots 47-17. This game, man, was a rout. This was a blowout. The Bills basically controlled this game from beginning to end. Josh Allen was amazing. And I feel like people forget how amazing Josh Allen is because of, having quite a subpar regular season. I mean, last year that was the Josh Allen breakout party. And then this year, he didn't quite lived up to the expectations. A lot of people are, at the beginning of the season, were pegging him to be the league MVP. They're having this expectations to the Bills, and those expectations weren't really met in the regular season. But Josh Allen showed last night that he is one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in the league. They pretty much ran through the Patriots defense, the really good Patriots defense, and it was a blowout. It wasn't even close. I mean, the score indicates 47-17, but to me, it felt like the score was 50-0 all game long because of they started out out of the gates, man. Bills Mafia. I see you. So yeah, so the Bills are advancing to the divisional round for the second consecutive season. They will face. I think the AFC is now all set. They will face. Let's talk about that later, okay? Because we haven't gotten to all the AFC wild card. Let's go over to the next day, which was today. I really didn't get to see this game because it was too early in the morning for me, and I wasn't gonna sacrifice sleep just to watch some football. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning over the Philadelphia Eagles, 31-15. Again, this was another one of those wire to wire victories for Tampa Bay. They even led at one point, 31-0. I mean, the Eagles tried to make it interesting right there in the end, but again, it was too much for them to handle. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are having injury problems right now. Plus, with the absence of Antonio Brown, who quit on the team, or quit or got released, or depends to who you talk to, and they also have a bunch of injuries on the defensive side. But they didn't really need to go 100% on the Eagles here today. I mean, the Eagles for some reason got into the playoffs again. But they're not that good. The Eagles are not that good. I mean, Jalen Hurts is showing some brilliance, some flashes of brilliance throughout the season. But this team, man, this team is pathetic, and they are at the point in which they really can't tank because they're too good to tank, but they're not. They're too bad to become a playoff contending team. They are stuck there in the middle. And they're going to keep making the playoffs if they continue with this team, with this makeup of the team. They will continue to make those 6th, 7th seeds in the future, especially with Jalen Hurts on the lineup, which I think he's a good quarterback. He has a bright future with that team, but the rest of the team suck. I mean, they traded one of their premier tight end in Zach Ertz at the middle of the season somehow, but they still made the playoffs. But it's GG. It's GG against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, of course, led by Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady is amazing. Like, he has the record for most playoff wins of any quarterback in NFL history. And the guy next to him, Joe Montana, is like miles, miles beneath Tom Brady on the list. So, yeah. The Buccaneers will move on to the divisional round, in which they will face the winner of tomorrow's game between the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. Also today, this was the game that, for me, this is the best game of the entire weekend so far. The San Francisco 49ers defeating the Dallas Cowboys in a thriller. Like, watching that game, I watched the game, by the way, on the Nickelodeon feed because I think it's something new. I think it's something fresh. I really like the concept. For me, that who is a SpongeBob fan, I love SpongeBob. I really love the presentation of it. It's very unique. It's very colorful. It's very outside of the box, and I wish other leagues will follow suit as well. I mean, the target of these coverages or these presentations are the kids, and this is a good way to get the kids to be interested in football. And good job there by the Nickelodeon crew, CBS crew. That was a really great way to present your game to the younger demographic. So let's get back to the game. There were multiple times in the second half in which I said this game is over. I really did. And somehow the Cowboys would have this semblance of life. But particularly the one that really sparked the almost comeback of the Cowboys was the interception in the third quarter. I really thought that at that point, if the Cowboys would win this game, that would be the moment in which that sparked the comeback. And they almost did it. They just ran out of time. That last play was really confusing because there was 14 seconds left. And Dak Prescott ran the ball, went for a slide, and they didn't get to clock the ball to stop the clock and have one last play. Like, that was the first time I've ever seen that. That was the first time I've ever seen a team lose because they ran out of clock. in their final drive. And you know, before that play, they were converting. They were converting on I think they converted on three first downs, but it wasn't enough. I guess they ran out of time. They really screwed it up on their possession before that, in which they didn't really get it. So that was an experience. That was again, I said earlier when I was watching the game, I said it's over like 5 times, and then it's not, and then it's over, and then it's not. That was not a good game for me to watch for someone who has heart issues, especially for Cowboys fans, man. That must have sucked. And for the last game of the day, again, the Chiefs Kingdom, Kansas City Chiefs defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers 42-21. This game was crazy. Patrick Mahomes had 5 touchdowns in the span of 11 minutes of gameplay. Like, holy shit. The Chiefs simply outplayed this Pittsburgh Steelers team. And to be honest with you, when I was watching this game, all I could think of is we could have seen a Justin Herbert versus Patrick Mahomes matchup in the divisional round, and that would be must-see TV. Instead, we got this. We got this, like, a past his prime Big Ben on his final legs going up against Patrick Mahomes, probably one of the best quarterbacks of all time, one of the best quarterbacks in the game, and it ain't even close. Like, this was, I mean, the Steelers came out of the gate strong, especially defensively. They were able to hold the Chiefs without a score in the first quarter, and then in the second quarter, early in the second quarter, they were able to get a defensive touchdown, and then that's it. And then the Chiefs decided to just fuck it and and destroyed the Steelers all game long. It really got bad, man. It really got bad for the Steelers. Like I said, I was feeling sorry for Big Ben. Like, this is a way for him to go out on a fucking blowout, and they tried to make it into this thing at the end, but I think that was just Big Ben padding up his stats to be able to say that he had a good final game, I guess. But this wasn't even close. Like, the score doesn't really tell the picture of this game. Like the score indicates a closer outlook of the game, but it wasn't really close. It was a blowout from wire to wire, especially from the second quarter. This is the first quarter. The Steelers tried to hang in there defensively. They limited Patrick Mahomes in the first quarter, but then in the second quarter, in the third, that was when shit, the shit went to 100 for the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs are advancing to the divisional round, which they will face the Buffalo Bills. That's an interesting matchup. The Tennessee Titans, who is the number 1 seed, will face the Cincinnati Bengals in the divisional round. That is going to be next week. We still have a game tomorrow. The LA Rams going up against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals stumbled their way into the playoffs. They started the season 7-0, but ever since then it was ugly. It really got ugly for the Cardinals. I really thought they're gonna miss the playoffs. Like, we're gonna see the first 7-0 team to miss the playoffs, but somehow they got in there. They stumbled their way into the playoffs, and now they're facing their AFC West rivals, the LA Rams. That's going to be tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Philippine time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. And that is going to be on ESPN. So we'll have one more Monday Night Football game on ESPN this season. So I predict a Rams victory in this one, because this team, this is a now or never situation here for the Rams. They got all these guys who are past their prime, superstar players like OBJ, Von Miller, Andrew Whitworth, who's like 40 fucking years old and he's still going strong. Matthew Stafford. So this is a win now situation for the Rams, and I think they will win at least one game here in the playoffs against the Arizona Cardinals and advance to the next round, in which they will face. So if the Rams win this one, they will face the Bucks, right? They will face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we got 3 divisional matchups already settled. The Titans will face the Bengals. The Bills will face the Chiefs, which I think that's the premier game of the divisional round for me. Bills against Chiefs. We also have in the NFC the Packers against the 49ers, which is a rematch of the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. And then the last one is going to be decided tomorrow. So the winner of the Rams and the Cardinals will face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the divisional round next week. So that is it for this Daily Zap. Again, follow me on all my socials on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and of course here on YouTube. Give this a like, comment something if you know whatever your thoughts about this game, and also share, as it will only help this channel grow. So this has been the Daily Zap here. Emile Nate, Emile Meister, the one and only, always saying stay safe, and I will see you on the next one.